Morning folks, Jer here on the 25th of August with your Leeds news. Not a lot going around this morning, so I'm going to just clarify a few bits and pieces that have been floating around and get into some comments made by Angus Kinnear as well as the Under-21's game last night and the Carabao Cup game last night. So we'll crack on and start off with Angus Kinnear. Asked last night about Leeds' transfer business in this window, Kinnear said that Leeds have had a very good transfer window and that the plan was always to bring the players in early to allow them to acclimatise and get used to the squad and playing style together, which has paid dividends so far. And I think it's really hard to argue that it hasn't worked out really well so far. He went on then to say that Leeds would remain vigilant and active right up until deadline day if the right player should come available. He said that Leeds have the fun and the will to make the move for the player if that happens. I think the shorthand version of that is Leeds are still actively looking. Now, who that player is remains to be seen. There's a lot of names floating around that are probably dismissible. I'll get rid of a couple that are probably dismissible straight away. Sasha Kaladesh from Stuttgart has been linked again with Leeds, and Manchester United and Everton are also said to be interested in the 6'7" striker from Stuttgart. I don't believe there's a huge amount in this. United are definitely having a look at him, as are Everton, but Everton are looking at everybody. Everybody else is looking at it. It just appears to be a little bit of desperation there. So we'll see what happens with Sasha Kaladesh. I think we can eliminate that one pretty much straight away. Trevor Chalobah has again been linked today. The talk around Trevor Chalobah is that Leeds are interested in the defender, but that he won't come to Leeds unless he sign either Wesley Fofana from Leicester or a player similar to that. They are looking at other players in that mould as well. So it's an interesting one to come out of nowhere. A defender, you'd imagine we've enough bodies there to cover, but who knows? Again, crazy week. Stuff's going to be linked all over the place. Moving on to Kai Wagner, who's been linked repeatedly with Leeds. Coming out this morning from Tom Bogert, who is the MLS journalist, said that Leeds are interested and are still in negotiations with Kai Wagner. However, he doesn't believe the move will happen in this window. He believes Leeds won't sign the player until January. The reasons behind that are Philadelphia Union are currently sitting top of the Eastern Conference in the MLS and have a really good chance of going on to win the MLS Cup. So they want to retain Wagner as a vital part of their squad until January. He also went on to say, though, he admitted it could change and it is possible the player could move in this window. But the next couple of days will be interesting and key with that as well. Keep an eye on that one. I still think we need reinforcements at left back, and seeing how we're doing with Rodrigo's as a striker, number 9 at the moment, the left back is the one for me that we need to get sorted out. Stroke is doing great there. Don't get me wrong, he's doing great. But I still think we need to balance in the natural left back there. Moving on to other players linked with Leeds today. Hwang Hee Chan from Wolverhampton Wanderers has been linked with Leeds, and I'm mind boggled by this one, to be honest with you. Anywhere between 14 million and 25 million has been touted for the player. The player has scored, I believe it's 5 goals in 33 Premier League appearances. He is not the proven Premier League striker that Jesse Marsh has touted that he's looking for. 5 goals in that period says that he isn't at that level. Personally, I think he's a decent player. I don't think he makes our squad any better if we sign him. And I would be disappointed if that's the player Leeds bring in. I think there's a lot of good attributes to his game, the fact that he can play in more than one position, but I think if you're talking about 25 million being too much for Shay Adams, who is actively scoring goals, 25 million for Hwang is crazy money for a player who has struggled in the Premier League. You've also got to ask yourself why clubs like Wolves are letting players like that go. If he's such a good player and he's a good enough player to push them on, Wolves are in the same position as us. They're in that mid-table bracket. Our aspirations being the upper mid-table. And you've got to ask why they would be willing to let players go to a rival like that. So for me, I don't see a huge amount in it. Sky Sports are reporting this, so everyone takes that as being, gospel. The issue with that is Sky Sports also reported that we were signing Mo Kamara, and we didn't. So the Sky get things wrong as well because their information are coming from agents and sources outside of clubs as well. So it'll be a funny one. I would be shocked if that's the player we bring in. I'd be a bit disappointed, to be honest with you, if that was the player that we brought in. Also then moving on to some news from last night. So the Under-21s were also on action yesterday and they had a 3-1 win over Bradford. Matteo Joseph, Max Steen and Morton Spencer scoring the goals for Leeds. Decent win there as well. Unusual to have an Under-21 game on the same day as the first team in the Carabao Cup, and that's probably why some of the players didn't feature that we expected to see from the Under-21 team. So that would explain that reason. And then last night, fantastic performance in the second half. I thought the first 10 minutes again were a little bit shaky at times. People are getting very excited about a couple of performances. That some of it had a really, really good game. I don't think Cody Drama had that good a game. People are saying he had a great game. He had a reasonably good game against a League One team. And I think Cody will struggle to force his way into the Leeds first team, if I'm being very, very honest. Outside of that, Matthias Klick looked excellent. But again, it's against a League One team, so you got to put that into context. But a thoroughly professional performance last night could have gone against us was very close to being 2-2 at one point. So that's it. As I said, there's not a massive amount going on this morning. Kinnear has clarified again that the statements, that Leeds are still active in the transfer window. Hwang Hee Chan linked with Leeds. Kai Wagner still there, but possibly January. Sasha Kaladesh looked like it's possibly going to go to Manchester United, and I don't think Leeds are that interested in anyway. And Trevor Chalobah floating around as well. So little bits and pieces this morning, not a massive amount. That'll be it for today. It's in a weird space before we get to next week. 7 days left in the window. We'll see what happens tomorrow in the next couple of days, and I'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow's news. Bye.